people need to connect to the network too. And we just got back from Cisco Live, where we had some conversations around this. And I've actually had an opportunity to hear some additional conversations around the topic of zero trust, because I feel like we had a little bit of a time in the sun for zero trust. And then it kind of was moving, and there were some interesting parts of it. And then some other stuff blew up over here, and it got all the attention. But there are still people who are trying to approach this from the perspective of, great, like, people need to be able to access the network. And I think it actually has value because there's no rule that says that it just has to be people. Like the concept of doing zero trust isolation for agents, for models, for people that are querying against those models has a lot of potential value to solve a lot of headaches that, quite frankly, we've been dealing with for years.
Oh my God, yes. And I know when we were talking before the recording, hey, do something other than AI, but we can't escape it, can we? Right? And you raise a phenomenal point. It applies to agents too. And to me, one of the things that is really interesting is that yes, I think we're past the major hype over zero trust, but we seem to have come to some understandings in industry, and that is really useful now. Now, as we can explore, there are nuances on how you go about doing this, but we have landed on this concept of, I mean, least privilege. I mean, we talk about least privilege, right? With these things are interconnected, and we sort of landed on zero trust as this broad framework of implementing that least privilege in different environments. Now, one of the things that, like in the networking space, people refer to ZTNA, zero trust network access. I've never been a fan of the term because to me, the end the end is actually implied. It should be zero trust access. So shout out to my former colleague and good friend Rick Turner. He and I would have conversations about this for a while. Funny thing, we would have conversations in Portuguese as well because Rick is one of those polyglots that I envy so much. Right? But the point is, business doesn't talk about the network. Business talks about the application. So as a policy construct, you're never really doing, oh, okay, I'm going to give network access to the subnet where the Salesforce web gateways are, or web servers or whatnot. No, you're going to give access to Salesforce, or you're going to give access to Outlook, or you're going to give access to, nowadays, OpenAI, or so the notion of zero trust network access never sat really well with me. It's always been like zero trust access. But anyway, I'm babbling as usual.
I feel like one of the reasons why we stuck the N in there is because they were aiming this at a very specific market segment when it first came out, because the networking teams controlled access to devices. You can thank VMware for that with the whole adoption of NSX. I knew I was going to get it. I was like, it's in there. But like that was one of the very first NSX things that I saw, was this ability to do host isolation and things like that. And I feel like it's evolved, but more importantly, because you kind of say, the N is implied, I think a lot of what we discuss as the nuts and bolts of this is implied as well.